What's up, everybody? This is Hot Rod, and this is the Hard Knocks Madden NFL 17 ratings breakdown. We're going to be looking at the players that are your surefire starters, guys that you might want to consider starting, and the ones that you just want to get rid of on your team. Today, we're going to be looking at the AFC North. First up is the Cincinnati Bengals. At quarterback, we have the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. This year, the Madden ratings guys gave him a little love and gave him some extra throw power. I believe in Madden 16, he was hovering around the mid-80s. So now sitting at 90 throw power, things are looking much better. He has pretty great accuracy, 92 short accuracy, 92 mid accuracy, 86 deep accuracy. So Dalton is definitely legit this year. At running back, you have the combination of Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill. Bernard sits at 85 overall. He has that 89 speed, 92 acceleration. He has that great 95 agility, and also 90 elusiveness. So he's going to be pretty nice, a nice running back in space. He can make some moves on the defenders. And then you have Jeremy Hill at 81 overall. Not as quick, but he replaces that quickness with the trucking ability at 89 truck. He should be a nice little 1-2 punch combination between Bernard and Hill at your running back situation. Your fullback, Ryan Hewitt, is kind of your average fullback, 70 run block. Not great, but should be decent to have there as your lead blocker. AJ Green tops your wide receivers at 93 overall. Green is a great wide receiver, 91 speed. He has that 94 agility, 95 catch, so he's sure-handed, and that 97 jump is going to be great when you're throwing that ball up, one-on-one balls with the cornerback. 94 catching traffic, 95 route running, 93 release. So AJ Green is definitely an elite wide receiver. But after that, the rest of the wide receiver depth chart is a little bit light. Marvin Jones is no longer on the team, so now Brandon LaFell or Brandon Tate is going to end up being your number 2 wide receiver. LaFell probably will be your best option there with his 82 route running. He doesn't have that much quickness, but he could still do a little bit from the wide receiver position. Tyler Boyd is your rookie. 22 years old, 70 overall. You develop that route running, and he could probably replace Brandon LaFell as your number 2 wide receiver, but you're definitely gonna have to find some guys to fill out that depth chart. And while your depth chart at wide receiver is a little light, you can rest comfortably that you have Tyler Eifert as your starting tight end. Eifert is one of the top tight ends in the game at 90 overall. Definitely has that athleticism with 84 speed, 87 acceleration. Also can get up there for some jump balls with 91 jump. And that 85 route running and 88 catching traffic is going to make him a dangerous weapon at tight end. The rest of your guys at tight end, there's not really much to say about them. Tyler Croft could be a decent receiver. However, he doesn't really bring anything else to the table. The Bengals O-line is solid, albeit there's some issues with your top guy, Andrew Whitworth. He's getting up there in age at 34 years old, but he is one of the best all-around offensive linemen, 94 run block, 95 pass block, and 93 strength. So he's going to be a beast protecting your blind side. Kevin Zeitler, also a solid offensive lineman, 89 overall, 92 run block, 82 pass block, 87 impact block. So he's going to be a great guard for you. The rest of your guys, they're okay. They should be serviceable. Jake Fisher is also a solid young guy at right tackle that should develop well. But at your other guard position and center, you might want to find a couple guys to upgrade those positions. Your defensive line is led by 28-year-old Geno Atkins at defensive tackle, 94 overall. Also has pretty good athleticism at defensive tackle with 77 speed, 89 strength. That 98 power move and 93 block shed means that he's going to wreak havoc in both the run and pass game. Very, very much a top defensive tackle there. You also have Carlos Dunlap, 87 overall, 80 speed, 79 strength. 93 finesse move and 85 block shed at that left end position. He's definitely going to be a very good player for you. So you have two guys there still in their prime. You should be very happy about. After that, you have some guys that are getting up there in age, and so you're going to be looking to supplement your defensive line with some youth and some additional talent. You definitely have that Baylor defensive tackle Andrew Billings that you can develop to be a defensive tackle next to Atkins, but definitely have some work there on the defensive line. At your outside linebackers, Vontaze Burfict is your top outside linebacker at 88 overall. He doesn't have that good speed that most guys will probably want, especially playing a 4-3 defense. But he does have very good play recognition at 88, 89 block shed, 83 power move, so he can rush the pass it a little bit. And he also has 81 zone coverage, so still should be a solid outside linebacker despite his lack of speed. You also have Carlos Danzy, who is an older guy, so season one he's going to be who you got to put in there, but after that probably want to draft or pick up a guy outside linebacker in free agency. Ray Maluga is going to be your starting middle linebacker. He's a solid linebacker, 82 speed, 87 acceleration, and 82 strength. So he has pretty good physical tools, even though he's not a great player. But he also has 79 block shed, which is okay at middle linebacker, 87 play recognition, and 79 zone coverage. So should be a solid player for you. There's nobody really behind him that's going to be threatening his spot. So you got to just stick with Maluga. At cornerback, you have another top guy there at Adam Jones, who's your top corner, 89 man coverage, 84 zone coverage. He is older, and you can see that in his speed, only 86 speed, so he might get beat deep. The rest of your guys, Dre Kirkpatrick and Darqueze Dennard, not great. Dennard has that 82 man coverage though. But the guy that you're going to want to develop is William Jackson, the rookie out of Houston. He's got solid tools, 93 speed, 93 acceleration, and high 70s in man and zone coverage. So definitely a guy that you want to work on. There's not a lot of talent at safety. George Aloka, he's a solid guy, 84 overall, 85 zone coverage. He's not a all-around great free safety, but definitely not a scrub either. But at strong safety, you don't really have, Sean Williams is okay, 75 overall, and, solid zone coverage at 77. But his low play recognition probably will hurt you a little bit. But he'll definitely be a solid run defender with that 78 block shed. And then finally, it's your kicker and punter, Mike Nugent and Kevin Huber. They're just all right, nothing special. Nugent is older, so you're probably going to need a kicker in a season or two. But, not really something that you need to stress about. So that's it for the Bengals. Definitely a very good team, especially on offense. You definitely want to do some work upgrading the defense a little bit, but definitely should be a team that you can contend with. We have the Cleveland Browns at quarterback, RG3. I think we could remember a time when he was actually very good in Madden. Those days are over, at least for now. 73 overall. He has very good throw power at 92, but his accuracy is not there. You might find yourself clamoring for Johnny Manziel and grab him in free agency. But your quarterback situation is definitely a huge question mark on this team, and definitely a position that you're probably going to want to end up drafting a guy. Cody Kessler might be a guy that you can develop. However, you might want to look elsewhere. Depends on what your priorities are. Duke Johnson is your top running back. I actually like him as a long-term running back. I think he can do, even though he might not have a great overall rating at 78. I think he does have a pretty nice skill set: 90 speed, 88 agility, 86 elusiveness, also has solid juking skills at 91. So he's a guy that you could probably try to develop further and see what he can do for a few seasons. Isaiah Crowell and Raheem Mostert are your other running backs that you might give a little time to, but Duke Johnson is definitely a solid running back. Your fullback, Malcolm Johnson, he's pretty trash, so you're probably going to want to pick up a better fullback in free agency and preseason because Johnson is not going to do anything. Malcolm Johnson is not going to do anything for you at the fullback position. And you know what? The positivity will continue with wide receivers. Their overalls might not be super high, but I actually like a few of these guys in the wide receiver group. Corey Coleman is your rookie wide receiver. He's the top rookie wide receiver in Madden 17 at 78 overall, 93 speed. He starts out with 80 route running and 83 catching traffic. So he definitely is going to be a very good wide receiver with a little bit of development. You also have Josh Gordon. He's took a little dip, I guess that drug and alcohol related regression that the Madden guys put in there. But I would have expected a little better route running for Gordon, but he's still very young at 25, so we can get that back up over 80. But he still has very good size and 91 speed, 90 acceleration, 82 catching traffic. So he's definitely going to be a very good wide receiver for you. And Taylor Gabriel, he's 72 overall, but I think he's actually a very good guy for your slot wide receiver position. 91 speed, 93 acceleration, and 94 agility, as well as 95 jump. He is at 80 route running, so he's definitely going to be a solid number 3 wide receiver. And then we're at tight end where we see Gary Barnidge, who was rewarded for his very good season last year in the NFL. He's at 84 overall, 81 speed, 88 acceleration. Not a great run blocker, 66 run blocking, but definitely a great receiving tight end with 88 catch and 87 route running. He also has 86 catch and traffic so very good tight end for you. So you have some nice pieces on offense between running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Your offensive line is led by the longtime left tackle, Joe Thomas, definitely one of the best tackles in the game, 97 overall, 93 strength, 93 run block, 98 pass block, 93 impact block. So definitely a beast right there at left tackle. Joe Bitonio, also very good offensive lineman at 83 overall. Not a super strong guy, but solid run blocking at 86 and 80 pass block. Should be a guy that will develop a little bit more and be one of the better guards in the game. But the rest of your offensive line is a little bit of a question mark. Not particularly good pass blockers. You have a couple more good run blockers in Greco and Michael Bowie, but definitely need some work. Definitely have some work to do in upgrading that offensive line. Your defensive line, this is another unit that is pretty weak. Desmond Bryant, he's all right at your left end, 3-4 left end. Danny Shelton is your second-year nose tackle. He's a guy that you can still develop, especially with his 93 strength. Get that block shit up, and he could be a really good nose tackle. But other than that, you don't really have any other guy that is going to be particularly good in run defense. And you have a couple guys that are decent pass rushers, but definitely not that many good all-around defensive linemen on the Browns. At your outside linebacker, you have Paul Kruger at 85 overall, topping your depth chart. Not a particularly athletic outside linebacker, but still a very solid pass rusher with 88 finesse move. Not going to be good against the run with his 74 block shedding, but should be an okay outside linebacker. You also have your rookie Emmanuel Ogbah. He should be the guy that's going to end up leading your outside linebacker group. Definitely already some solid skills with his 85 speed and 73 strength, 83 power move, and 84 block shed. Means that he's a guy that can play all three downs comfortably. You just want to get that play recognition up, and further develop his power move and block shedding, and maybe make him a little bit better in zone coverage. At middle linebacker, this is also another weak position for the Browns. Demario Davis, he's just okay, but 65 block shed means that your run defense, you couple that with your weak defensive line, your run defense is going to be very bad in your first season. I'll just warn you there. You also have Christian Kirksey. He's also, I think he's a guy that you want to develop. I think he's a guy that can be your one of your inside linebackers long term, especially considering the fact that he's excellent in coverage. You just want to get, like Demario Davis, his issue is his low block shed, which will, definitely hurt you a little bit. But that should be a rating that you can develop pretty easily. In the past, block shedding was a rating that you can increase fairly quickly. It's a cheap rating to increase. But other than that, definitely going to be a position where you're going to have to find another guy along with Kirksey to upgrade your middle linebacker group. All right, well, we're now back to having a solid group of players at a positional unit. Your cornerbacks are actually pretty solid. Joe Hayden, obviously, he's been one of the better corners in the league and also in Madden for a few years now, and his 86 man coverage and 86 zone coverage, as well as his 95 press, you definitely like having him as one of your DBs. Kawan Williams, he's also a solid DB for you. 87 speed and 91 acceleration. He also has 82 man coverage and 77 zone coverage, so he's definitely a solid corner for you. And Justin Gilbert, even though he's kind of struggled in real life, they still give him decent ratings, especially for Madden. I think he has some attributes that will help him be somewhat effective on the field, especially considering he has 93 speed and solid zone coverage at 82. So you have three pretty solid cornerbacks. There's definitely a lot worse situations across the league in Madden, so definitely not a position that you need to be discouraged about. And then we wrap up our Browns defense with the safeties. Raheem Moore, I think he's a solid safety, especially I like his 81 zone coverage. 81 hit power is okay, but he's a decent all-around safety. You definitely want to increase his play recognition and make him a little bit better tackler. Other than that, the safety position is very weak. Your strong safeties is not really anybody that I really like out of this group. Jordan Poyer might be another guy that you might start alongside Raheem Moore, but definitely going to need to upgrade here very soon. And then your kicker and punter, Andy Lee, solid punter, and 94 kick power, 88 kick accuracy. His only issue is that he's an older punter at 34, so you're gonna have to find a younger guy. And then you have Travis Coons and Patrick Murray, who are both on the roster as kickers. You're probably gonna end up going with Murray since he has the bigger leg. So there's the Browns. Definitely have some work to do, especially compared to the teams like the Steelers and the Bengals. But they do have some pieces, so you just got to build a team the right way, and you can definitely do a little bit with the Browns. And then we take it to the Ravens. Joe Flacco is their quarterback, longtime Ravens quarterback. He's all right. He's your average quarterback, 81 overall. Definitely still has that big arm with 97 throw power. His accuracy is kind of middle of the road. 84 short accuracy, 85 mid accuracy, 77 deep accuracy. So he's a quarterback that is good enough for Madden, but you're probably going to end up wanting to upgrade pretty soon in a season or two. Your running back position, there's definitely a plethora of running backs on the Ravens roster. Justin Forsett was the starter last year, and they didn't really give him too many ratings that will have you eager to start him. I think you might end up being better off starting a guy like Javorius Allen or Lorenzo Taliaferro. I particularly like Taliaferro just because he's a very solid power back with that 89 truck. He's not going to do too much else other than plow through the line, straight line runner. But for your first season, he might be, adequate. But after that, you might want to find another guy either through the draft. You might want to develop the rookie Kenneth Dixon, but I don't really see any ratings for him that make him look like he is going to be a great running back for you long term. And then at fullback, you have Kyle Juszczyk. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but I think he's a very good fullback. At 76 run blocking, he also has decent speed, 81 speed, so you might be able to do a little bit, contribute a little bit in the pass game here and there on short passes, but definitely a solid fullback. I never like when at wide receiver when your best wide receiver is almost geriatric, but Steve Smith is the guy that fits that category at 37 years old. Still a very good wide receiver, obviously. 89 overall, 92 route running. I love. He definitely doesn't have that same speed that we're accustomed to seeing out of Steve Smith, but he definitely has sure hands with his 93 catch in traffic, 92 spectacular catch. So definitely a great wide receiver, but you just have to know that he's probably going to retire after season one. I also like Kamar Aiken. He's definitely a solid number 2 wide receiver for the Ravens. He doesn't have that great athleticism, but he does have that pretty good route running at 84, 83 catch in traffic is solid, 86 catch, 89 jump. So just all around solid wide receiver, not great, but you could do worse at your number 2 wide receiver. And then Brashad Perryman, who didn't play at all last year for the Ravens in real life. I think he ended up kind of taking a hit for that, especially in his route running. But he's only 22 years old, and he is 95 speed, so he's not a guy that you want to keep off the field for too long. You just have to develop that route running and his catching traffic so he can be a guy that you can trust on the outside and inside and the slot. But you're going to want to have to put him on the field anyways just to get some development out of him. And then you also have Mike Wallace, who joins the team after being on the Vikings for a couple years. Not a great route runner. He doesn't have that top end speed anymore, but you have four guys that you can probably play at wide receiver, especially if you develop Perriman a little bit. At tight end, you have the combo of Dennis Pitta and Benjamin Watson. Both guys are solid tight ends. Pitta has his 84 route running, 85 spectacular catch. He also has 88 catch, so he's definitely a solid, sure-handed tight end. Not super athletic, but can still get the job done. You also have Benjamin Watson, who came from New Orleans. He has 79 route running, and 79 route running, 82 catch. Solid, not great also, but with this team, you could do a lot worse than, throwing out some 2 tight end sets every now and then. You also have Crockett Gilmore and Max Williams, who played with the Ravens last year. So you also have some younger guys that you might want to try to develop as well. But you might want to try to find yourself a beast tight end, especially with Steve Smith probably retiring after this season. You need to get some weapons on this team. And then your offensive line, I definitely like this group. You have a very good offensive line, especially your top 3 guys in Marshall Yanda, Jeremy Zutta, and Ronnie Stanley. Yanda is one of the best offensive linemen in Madden 17. 98 run blocking, 96 pass block, 86 impact block. I mean, wow, this guy pretty much has it all. Very strong run blocker at your right guard position. Zuda is also very solid as a center. 82 run block, 81 pass block, 90 impact block. So he's going to hold his blocks very well. The only issue with your Yanda and Zuda is they're getting up there in age. But then you have Ronnie Stanley, the rookie out of Notre Dame. He came in at 79 overall. But, I mean, look at his ratings. 83 run block, 86 pass block, 83 impact block. This guy is going to be a great left tackle for you for the duration of the franchise. So your left tackle position, your blind side is good to go. And then on the defensive line, I definitely like Brandon Williams. He's a very good nose tackle, especially with his 98 block shed. Not going to do too much as a pass rusher, but he's definitely going to stuff the run up the middle very well. You also have Timmy Jernigan, who I think you can develop into a very good 3-4 defense, 3-4 left end, 82 block shedding, 84 power move. Not particularly, not super strong, only 85 strength, but definitely for a 3-4 defense, he could be very solid. After that, you're going to have to find another defensive end in your 3-4 defense. None of the other guys on this roster I really like. None of these guys are really long-term guys for you. And then that outside linebacker, you have the familiar face, Terrell Suggs. He's getting old, but still he's a solid outside linebacker. 87 block shed, 97 power move. So he's definitely a beast of a pass rusher. But he is losing some of his athleticism. It might not hurt him too much, but just something to keep in mind. You also have Elvis Dumerville, who's also a very good pass rusher, especially with his 96 finesse move. Not a great run defender with his block shedding, but he's definitely still a guy who's going to be in position, especially with his 92 play recognition. And then a guy to keep an eye on as far as development is your rookie Kamale Correa out of Boise State. I think he is a guy who's going to end up filling in for either, one of those guys. I think he has the tools to be a very good outside linebacker. He already has 83 finesse move and 76 block shed. So he's already, starting off from a good spot in terms of defensive ratings. You definitely just need to, give him some playing time so he can get some experience and give you the opportunity to develop some of those ratings. And at middle linebacker, CJ Mosley is definitely a great inside linebacker for you in your 3-4 defense. He's going to be strong, especially with his 91 pursuit, 83 play recognition, 81 block shed. Strong against the run, sure tackler. You want to develop his zone coverage rating probably, just to make sure that he's a little more well-rounded. But he already has, especially at 24, he has a lot of really good skills that you can build on, and should be a great player for you for definitely a few years in your franchise. Cavell Connor, however, don't really like him as your number 2 inside linebacker. Most people will probably end up playing Arthur Brown. However, you're probably gonna need to find a second guy, better guy for your number 2 middle linebacker position. It just doesn't seem like the rest of this group is very, very good. I don't think they're really good. They're really gonna help you too much on defense. And then at cornerback, Jimmy Smith is your top number 1 corner, but not really that great. The rest of this group is kind of just okay. Probably going to end up playing Jimmy Smith, Ladarius Webb, and Will Davis as your 1 through 3 corners. But you're definitely going to have to bring in some guys to upgrade this group. And then your safeties, Ravens signed Eric Weddle, so you definitely have one of your top flight free safeties on the Ravens. Definitely very good in zone coverage, very good play recognition. So he's going to be around the ball and, make a lot of plays for you. He's just a little older, so you just got to keep that in mind. Also like Terrence Brooks as your another safety that could play alongside Weddle. He has definitely very good man and zone coverage, especially at his age. That's something that you can develop. The main thing about him is just increasing that play recognition. That's something that's really hurting his overall right now. So, if you increase that and increase his tackling ability, he's going to end up being, a guy that's going to be sitting at 80 some overall. And then your kicker and punter, Sam Koch is your punter at 84 overall, 91 kick power, 93 kick accuracy. And then Justin Tucker, a very good kicker, 98 kick power, 98 kick accuracy. So he'll definitely be a guy who's going to be a great field goal kicker for you. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at quarterback, Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger at 93 overall, one of the top 5 quarterbacks. He has elite arm talent, 95 throw power, 95 short accuracy, 96 medium accuracy, and 90 deep accuracy. I mean, this guy is definitely legit, though he's getting up there in age, so you might only have 2 or 3 seasons with him. But in the meantime, you can definitely put in work with Big Ben. At running back, you have Le'Veon Bell. Also one of the stud players, another top 5 positional player at 94 overall. This guy is pretty great all-around back, 90 speed, 93 acceleration. He has that 99 carry, so you don't have to worry about him fumbling. 95 elusiveness. I mean, this guy pretty much has everything, even at 97 juke. So he's going to be a slithery running back, and he also is a great receiver out of the backfield. And your fullback, you probably be keeping Roosevelt Nix. David Johnson is an older guy, and both Nix and Johnson have similar run blocking skills, though Nix is better with that 81 impact block. And then we have another top 5 positional player in Antonio Brown, the best wide receiver in Madden 17, 97 overall, 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 98 agility, 99 catch. I mean, I pretty much can say that he's almost a perfect wide receiver. Only his size is the only thing that he probably doesn't have on some of the other top wide receivers. But, I mean, between those athletic skills and, his 98 catching traffic, his 98 route running, and a 95 release, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to shut down Antonio Brown. And then if you thought that was an issue, you also have guys like Martavius Bryant, a young guy, 24 years old. He's at 82 overall right now, but 84 route running with his 93 speed, 94 spectacular catch. So he's definitely a stud. And then you have Marcus Wheaton as your slot guy. Doesn't show it in the overall at 76, but still a great slot wide receiver, potential slot wide receiver, 78 route running. So you want to increase that. But he does have, pretty solid skills all around and should be able to get some space, especially with guys that are going to be paying so much attention to Antonio Brown and Bryant. And just in case you hadn't already had a headache thinking about how you're going to defend all of those guys, the Steelers picked up Ladarius Green in the offseason out of San Diego. And if you can see that right there, that's that 89 speed. That's pretty much a nightmare out of from the tight end position. Not a great route runner yet at 77, but something that you can develop. But he does have pretty good jumping skills at 88. 91 acceleration with that 89 speed is going to make him pretty tough to stop regardless. And this time around, the Steelers' offensive line is actually pretty good. In past Maddens, the line was a little bit suspect, but you have Marquise Pouncey, who is one of the best centers in the game, 91 run block, 89 pass block. You also have David DeCastro, 26 years old, and 85 run block, 87 pass block. And at left guard, Ramon Foster, he also in your mid to high 80s in run and pass block. So definitely a solid offensive line, especially with all that talent. You don't need to ask him to do too much, just open a hole here and there. And, Bell is going to put in some work. And then you have enough pass protection. That's, plenty of time for Big Ben to get the ball to one of those great wide receivers. On your defensive line, you have 2 solid young ends in Cameron Hayward, very good left end on your 3-4 defense. He has that 93 power move and 93 block shed, so he's going to be great in the run defense as well as being a pass rusher inside. You also have Stephon Tuitt, also solid, especially at 23 years old. He has that 86 power move and 83 block shed. So the combination of Hayward and Tuitt will definitely be very good, especially in your nickel defenses where they're playing inside as defensive tackles. But you also are going to need to find a nose tackle. There's not really a good one on the roster right now. Daniel McCullers might be the guy that you put in there for the first season, but there's not really one that's a long-term solution in that position. At outside linebacker, this is a position that's actually a little weak for the Steelers. You have old-ass James Harrison. He's slow as all get out at 68 speed, but he is strong as hell. He's 91 strength, 85 block shed. So if you run at him, he'll probably be able to make a play. But other than that, he's not really going to do much for you, especially in coverage. He's definitely going to be a weak link. Arthur Moats is probably going to be your other starting outside linebacker. He's a solid pass rusher, not great, but, he'll do the job. Jarvis Jones hasn't developed, and you can see that in his ratings. There's nothing really great about him. He might be, a guy you might plug in there as a pass rusher in pass rushing situations. But other than that, your outside linebacker situation is kind of weak, definitely compared to the other positions that you have on the roster. At middle linebacker, you have speedy Ryan Shazier. 79 overall, but he has that 90 speed. So, a lot of guys are going to love that. Definitely a solid tackler at 86, but he still needs to develop his play recognition and his block shedding because, along with that speed, he's a little light in the run defense category. Lawrence Timmons is getting up there in age, but he'll probably be your other inside linebacker. But after that, you're going to have to find another guy, a younger guy, to come in there to play next to Shazier. In your cornerbacks, your guys are solid zone coverage guys. If you're playing a predominantly zone defense, then you'll be very much okay. But if you do want to play a little bit of man coverage, this is not the team to be doing it. Artie Burns is your rookie cornerback. I think a rookie or second-year cornerback that you can develop into maybe a top corner. But other than that, nobody really stands out of this group. And then your safeties, also a weak unit on your defense. Mike Mitchell is a solid free safety with his 83 zone coverage. And he's not great in any other category, not a great tackler, but he does have a little thump with that 90 hit power. After that, your strong safety position is definitely a question mark. There's not really a guy there that is a long-term starter for you. Maybe Sean Davis, but he definitely needs some help as far as his play recognition, his man and zone coverage, and his block shedding. And your special teams guys, kicker and punter, Jordan Berry is your punter, 91 kick power and 88 kick accuracy, good enough. Chris Boswell has 92 kick power and 87 kick accuracy as your field goal kicker. Definitely pretty good there in that category as well. So probably don't need to make any moves in your punter or kicker. So Steelers, definitely one of the top offenses easily in Madden 17. Defense needs some help, but if you put up enough points, it might not matter. So that's it for the AFC North. The Steelers and the Bengals are your top teams. The Ravens have some pieces of their own, just not quite there yet. And in the Browns, they just have a lot of work to do, especially at quarterback, to be able to compete with these other three teams. So stay tuned for more ratings reveal videos. We'll be running through the rest of the divisions.